Okay, so I promised to do this a while ago, and I'm finally getting around to it. But I'm going to look at the Doom Patrol trades from the Gerard Way era. So that's 4 volumes. Doom Patrol Volume 1, Brick by Brick. Doom Patrol Volume 2, Nada. The Milk Wars crossover event, which is a crossover with a bunch of different titles, including the Justice League. And Doom Patrol Weight of the Worlds, which is the I think it was originally supposed to be a monthly series, but it was turned into a miniseries because of all the delays in the book, I think. But anyway, getting on to things. Gerard Way's run basically concentrates or starts out with a focus on Casey Brink, who's a new character that he created, and throughout the first volume, she's basically a stand-in for her new readers. She gets to introduce everyone to some old favorites like Robot Man, Cliff Steele, Negative Man, Larry Trainer, Flux Mentalo, Danny the Ambulance, who is now, or who used to be, sorry, Danny the Street. They have changed a lot. And eventually Crazy Jane. And as you can see, the artwork here is fantastic by Nick Derrickson, and Tamara Bonvillain is doing the colors. But yeah, it's basically an introductory or an introduction to the Doom Patrol for people who've probably never looked at it, who've never read it before, or for people who haven't read the series in quite a while, because it's been a while since we've had a Doom Patrol book. It might be again. But it's a fantastic little 6 issues in this volume. Bit of a glare coming off the light here, sorry about that. And this first volume basically has the Doom Patrol, like I said, getting reintroduced and coming together, and coming up against an alien called Torminox. And it's basically setting up some developments for the next series as well. That's Torminox there, as you can see. And Casey has a relationship, I guess you could say. She's a paramedic and an ambulance driver, and she has a connection to Danny the Ambulance that I won't get into right now, but you can read it and find out for yourself. And it's a fantastic story there. Just a lot of fun and very lighthearted in terms of the story, compared to some of like Morrison's run, or even Byron's run, or Burns' run. Nada, Volume 2, contains issues 7 to 12. So issue number 7 is a issue drawn by Mike Allred and colored by Laura Allred. You probably know from Madman way back. And this one basically focuses on the Doom Patrol taking on the Brotherhood of Nada, which is a new supervillain team that Mr. Nobody has put together. And again, most of the art is done by Nick Derrickson and Tamara Bonvillain. Fantastic looking art. And some new characters introduced: Lotion the cat, who becomes I guess a werecat, or a cat man, and Lucius Reynolds, who is kind of, I guess, like a junior sorcerer. And there's a new villain called the Disappointment, which is probably, there's Mr. Nobody there, which comes into play. These are the new members of the Brotherhood of Nada: the Brutalist, Hector the Boy Detector, 50% Chad, which is probably a fan favorite here. He's just a pair of legs. And Alice DeBreeze, I think it is, aka The Breeze. But again, it's a fantastic looking book, and you can see that Casey and Terry Nunn start developing a relationship, which goes on to have an impact in the Milk Wars crossover event. And this is, I'm trying to get a good look at him. That's the Disappointment there. He's a new villain which Gerard Way created. And And this is where Terry Nunn becomes pregnant, which I know that's a bit of a spoiler, probably should mention, but it does work its way into the story for the Milk Wars crossover event. There's the disappointment. Withheld due to copyright. So again, just a lot of weirdness, a lot of fun. And it ends off on the, just see here, to tame a land into the demonscape is a story focusing on the Reynolds family, which was supposed to I think take place before the I think before the last issue, before issue 11, but kind of got sorted in there. But it's a good read. Both of these together comprise the first 12 issues of the first Doom Patrol series by Gerard Way, and they're a fantastic read, a lot of fun. Especially if you haven't read Doom Patrol for a while, or if you want to get introduced to the characters, it's a great way to do it. Then it leads into the Milk Wars crossover event. Milk Wars, if you don't know, Gerard Way had basically set up a new line of comics at DC Comics called Young Animal. So he had things like Shade the Changing Woman and Cave Carson, all became went under the Young Animal imprint with Doom Patrol. You can see what's collected in here is JLA Doom Patrol Special #1, Mother Panic Batman Special #1, Shade the Changing Girl Wonder Woman Special #1, Cave Carson has a Cybernetic Eye Swamp Thing Special #1, and Doom Patrol JLA Special #1. And basically, again, getting into spoiler territory here, there's a pretty cool foldout here if I can get it out for you. The crossover hinges on the fact that Casey Brink and Terry Nunn had a son who ends up becoming a reality warping entity, I guess, or child. That's a long foldout. Who ends up becoming Milkman Man, who was like a parody almost of Superman. But he's rather violent and does a lot of evil stuff. And basically this crossover has all these Justice League and Doom Patrol characters winding up trying to find a way out of this rather bizarre dimension they found themselves in, or reality, I guess you would call it. The artwork is by a number of different artists because there's, like I said, there's a bunch of different one-shots collected here. Most of it is pretty excellent. And it can be a bit confusing if you haven't read any of the other Young Animal comics, like if you haven't been keeping up with Mother Panic or Cave Carson. It was a bit confusing for me because I didn't really know much of the characters beyond Doom Patrol and the Justice League. But it does have a impact on the Doom Patrol itself because, as I said, the origins go back to Casey and Terry's son. And it does bring back a couple of old Doom Patrol characters who end up going into the Weight of the World series. Dale Eaglesham, I think, did the art for a lot of this. And it does have an impact on Robot Man, who, again, spoiler, because I'll get into it in the Weight of the World's review there, but it makes him, you can see him there, he's become human again at the end, and Rita Farr's come back in a very weird way. Which leads into the Weight of the World's series, which I think was originally supposed to be a monthly series, but because of the number of delays, like the original Doom Patrol book came out in like 2016, and Weight of the Worlds was supposed to be a follow-up to that, or a continuation of that. But there were so many delays with the book that it basically, let's see, copyright 2019, 2020. I mean, 7 issues spread across 2 years that were, and the last issue especially took a very long time to come out. But basically, the Doom Patrol started going to different planets. They go into outer space and go to different planets and try to help people out. And you know, there's again some weird stuff here. They have 2 planets are trying to get a divorce, and there's time travel involved. And each issue, or almost each issue, has a different artist. So you have we've done a one story by Becky Cloonan here, which is pretty great, focusing on a new character and meeting Dorothy Spinner. And so you have that's kind of cool, right? It's kind of all over the place in terms of the range of stories. It's very rooted in sci-fi in that. The problem is that because each story is so different, and because it's only I guess a limited series or miniseries as it's described now, a lot of the developments in here kind of get introduced and then never really get focused on too much. As I said, Cliff Steele, Robot Man, becomes human for a bit, and it only lasts like one issue before he changes back. Negative Man becomes Positive Man, but even though that does last for a few issues, it never really gets explored. And Rita Farr, who is back, as you can see on the cover here, so it's not really much of a spoiler, I suppose. Aside from issue number 4, she doesn't really get much to do. Same with Lotion the Cat and Lucian, I think his name is, or Lucius, I forget what his name is. But there are so many characters in here that they kind of keep tripping over each other, and aside from Casey Brink, none of them really get a whole lot to do. So, I mean, some great artwork there again by Nick Darrington. But it's, and compared to the first volume of the first series, it is a bit of a disappointment because, as I said, each issue, depending on your taste, the artwork changes almost every issue. And sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. But the main problem here, and it's co-written by Jeremy Lambert, I should point out. Again, there are so many concepts introduced that the team itself gets overshadowed a bit. And a lot of stuff that should be explored doesn't really get explored as much as I would like. Maybe it'll be followed up in a new Doom Patrol series at some point, but right now that doesn't seem to be the case. I haven't heard anything, at least in the January 2020, of about a new Doom Patrol book. But overall, I think Gerard Way had a fantastic run on Doom Patrol. Really worth checking out, especially the first 2 volumes. He took a lot of the stuff that Morrison and Keith Giffen had set up, and some of the other writers, and really played with it and brought new characters and new concepts into the Doom Patrol, especially Casey Brink and the Brotherhood of Nada with Terry Nunn. And it does set up I can't really say less violent, I suppose, but a less dark and less grim and gritty version of the Doom Patrol that like Morrison had gone through in his run, which at times got incredibly dark and dealt a lot with trauma. And this does too, in a way, but in a different sort of way. It's more positive, more upbeat, more joyful in a weird way, if that makes sense. But yeah, fantastic run by Gerard Way, and I hope you guys check it out. And hopefully we'll get a new Doom Patrol series soon, and bring back some of these characters and see where the patrol goes from there. I should also mention that issue number 7 of the original series here, the Mike Elroyd issue, introduces the Scants, which were adapted for TV into the Doom Patrol TV series. I think in an episode called Dumb Patrol, if you want to know a little bit of trivia there. But yeah, Doom Patrol by Gerard Way. Check it out. It's good stuff. Thanks for watching.